Okay, hello everyone. For the last week or so, we have been learning how to tell the time, and everyone's done a fantastic job. I was saying to Mrs. Walker and Mrs. Moscatelli the other day that this class seemed to be, from my impression, quite good at telling the time. Sometimes other classes I find it quite hard, but you guys seem to be picking it up nicely, and I think it's all to do with your help your mum and dads are giving you, and also your little mini yellow clocks, because they're often a good way of helping people learn how to tell the time. So hope you're enjoying it anyway. Maybe you can bribe mum and dad by saying, if you become an expert in telling the time by the end of year one, to the nearest quarter hour, say, maybe they could buy you your own watch so you could practice even more, and then every year you could learn a little bit more about telling the time until you know how to tell it just as well as then as an adult. Anyway, these clocks that we have are analog clocks, and they're like the type of clocks we find in school. But don't forget, there are other types of clocks called digital clocks, like the type of clock you'll find on a mobile phone or on a computer screen, or lots of different places really. A stopwatch, stop clock, alarm clock for the morning to wake up for school or for work. So today we need to work out how to read the time on a digital clock. That's what we're going to focus on, and we're going to do it for o'clock times and half past times, because that's what we need to know in year one. Okay, so I've got my analog clock on the board, and I have, I'm sure you're all shouting at home, I have 12 o'clock on it. I have the minute hand and hour hand pointing at 12, and I'm going to change now. I'm going to click over here on my digital clock, and I'm going to show you this time, 12 o'clock, what it looks like on a digital clock. So on a digital clock, 12 o'clock looks like 12 ... 00, because the clock is, let me show you on this clock, it is 0 minutes past 12. It's exactly 12 o'clock. If it was 1 minute past 12, just going to move that 1 minute, it would be 12.01, but it's not. It's exactly 12, so we have 12.00. It actually has like a little double dot. So if that's how you write 12 o'clock, how do you think we write 1 o'clock? Let's have a look, okay? So let's go back to our clock. And if I want to get to 1 o'clock, remember, I need to move on 1 hour. So I'm going to make my clock move on 1 hour. So 60 minutes has passed. I'm now on 1 o'clock. Let's see how we write the time 1 o'clock. We write it 1.00. Okay, so that's important. It's quite simple. If that's how you write 1 o'clock, you'll soon pick up how to write your other times, because remember, 0 minutes past 1, so it's just 1. This is the important bit. Whatever o'clock it is, that's the bit you need to remember. So let's try another one. Let's try 5 o'clock. Now I'm going to move on the digital clock this time. Look, I'm going to add on. So I'm going to go from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So that's 2 o'clock on a digital clock, because it's 0 minutes past 2. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and it goes back to 1 o'clock. You can also get clocks like this where the time is in 24 hours, but you do not need to worry about that in year one. We're just going to stick with simple 12-hour clock. Okay, so we have 1 o'clock there. Now I'm going to make my time, go back to my clock. I want to change 1 o'clock to 1:30. So I am going to add on 30 minutes. I'm going to do halfway around the clock, because remember, it's halfway. We're going to cut that clock in half. So that's going to move halfway around the clock. Let's do it. So 1 o'clock has just become 1:30. And look, that hour hand has gone a little bit past 1. We don't want it to be exactly on 1. So we have 1:30. And you're asking me, how do we write 1:30 on a digital clock? Well, it is 30 minutes past 1. And remember, I'll show you on my big clock. I'm going to make my 1:30 here. 1 o'clock, 1:30. Now, I'll start off at 1 actually. Now remember, I said every little 5 dots is going up in 5. So let's count how many minutes. We're going to go till 1:30. How many minutes it takes us to get there? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So look, we are 30 minutes past 1, or as I'm sure you've heard people saying before, 1:30, or 1:30, because we are 30 minutes past 1. So if that's how you write 1:30, if that's how you write 1:30, let's see how we write 2:30. So let's move it on an hour. 2:30, 30 minutes past 2, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, and 12:30. So, quite simple, isn't it? Remember, if it's 0 minutes past, it's the number. So say, if it's 2 o'clock, it's 2.00, because it's 0 minutes past 2. If it's 2:30, it's 2.30, because remember, 30 minutes is half of 60 minutes, so 30 minutes is half of an hour. So, let me show you what you have to do next. Now, this might really help you get really good at telling the time to the digital time. So on this game, which is on your seesaw, on your journals, level 2, half hours, okay? Now, there's 2 options you can choose here. You can choose relaxed mode or timed mode. If you're really, really confident with what I've just said, try timed mode. If you think you need a little bit more practice, this is exactly what's going to help you, okay? So I'm going to actually try relaxed mode first of all to explain how you play this game, which will make you really, really good at telling the time. So I'm going to go to slow as well. You can make it slower, which makes it a little bit easier, gives you a little bit more time to think, okay? So I have my clock here. I need to look at it. I have 6:30. So 6:30, well, I remember 6:30 is 30 minutes past 6 or 6:30, and I want to aim this little circle right on that 6:30 clock, but I don't want to click on any of the others because I'll lose points then. So 6:30, okay, I got it. Okay, now my clock is on a simple 12 o'clock, so 0 minutes past 12, I'm going to go and try and get my perfect aim on, okay? Now I've got 4 o'clock, so 0 minutes past 4, where's 4 o'clock? Can anyone see 4 o'clock? There it is in the corner, sneaking up on me. I've got a new time on my clock. I have 8:30 or 8:30. Where's 8:30? Here it is. I'll try and get a couple more. I have now a new time. I have 10 o'clock. So 0 minutes past 10, 10.00. I'll do one more. I have 12:30 or 12:30. Okay, and so on. So I'm going to move back. So be careful. I think you lose points if you click on the wrong thing. So you want to get that circle right on. So it might be worth your while to take your time. So you're doing that for half an hour. If you think that you're super confident with digital times, match your clock on the timed mode. So try fast and let me know how you get on. Let me know what your score is. I know when we did that vowels game, remember you had to click on the vowels, people got quite competitive about it. It became a bit of a competition actually between people at home and people in school. And I think it might have finished a draw between Hugo and Charlie. So let me know how you get on with this. Have a few goes, okay? I'm sure you'll get faster as you go along and enjoy it. Then, maybe once you've played the game, you can go on to your maths. So what you have to do is you have to match the digital clock to the analog clock, okay, with a line. So look at the time. So I have here 7 o'clock. I have to match that clock up to the digital clock, which says 7 o'clock. I won't show any more because that would give them away, okay? Then, if you do really well on that, you can move on to the next task. Look at your clock. So I have here, I have 8 o'clock. So I want to write 8 o'clock on my digital clock. So I'm going to say, well, it's 0 minutes past 8. I'm going to write 8.00, okay? And if you look very carefully on these two worksheets, let me just go back to the first one. There's little challenges in the corner. Investigate the time differences between each event on the track. So your mum might ask you, or your dad, what's the time difference between lunchtime and reading time? Or what's the time difference between football and brushing your teeth, okay? Some of those could be quite tricky. Then there's a similar little challenge on this one. It says, write the digital times half an hour later than those shown on the page. So I have here 9:30 or 9:30. So I'm going to make that on my little clock, and you might want to do the same on yours at home. So I'll make 9:30. So is that 9:30? No, that's 9 o'clock, 9.00. So I need to make it 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, half an hour, 9:30. and it says, what is half an hour later? So I'm going to move this half an hour, that minute hand. So half an hour later than 9:30 takes me to 10 o'clock. So you might want to use your clocks to solve those problems. Best of luck. You might just want to stick with the way it is. But if you want to make it a little bit harder, that's a few little hints for you, okay? So enjoy, guys. You're doing really well, okay? Take it easy. Enjoy.